We worked with complementary angles and supplementary angles. So we're going to go ahead and review once again what those are. Complementary angles are a set of angles whose sum measures equal 90 degrees. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is sometimes you will be assessed on this and maybe they don't have the angle measures where they're connected together like they are in this situation. Sometimes they'll just give you a set of angles and they'll ask you to identify the sets of complementary angles. So when you check that, all you're going to do is check when you're adding to see that they equal 90 degrees. Remember, our C creates a 9, so those are those 90-degree angle measures. Anytime you see a right angle, so here we have a right angle, when it is split by a third ray, then that would be a set of complementary angles. So here angles 1 and 2 would be considered complementary angles because they create that right angle. Okay, supplementary angles, on the other hand, are going to be a set of two angles whose measures, when added together, or their sum, equals 180 degrees. And once again, my visual for that is the S that starts with supplementary creates an 8, so those equal 180 degrees. So you could have them separate like we have them here. So you could go through and check 135 plus 45 to see if they equal 180. And if they do, then they would be considered supplementary angles. The other thing that you need to understand is if they were to be put together, they would create a straight line. And you will be using this process a lot. Okay, so when they create a straight line, you have two angles that create a straight line, then they would be considered supplementary angles. So here angles 3 and 4 create that bottom straight line that's now darker blue, and they would be considered supplementary angles. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and practice some concepts with this. Okay, so here I want you to tell whether the angles are complementary, supplementary, or neither. So here's our first set. So the way that we're going to check this is we're going to check, once again, if you slide them together, does it look like it creates a straight line? If I were to be able to take that 70-degree angle and slide it right up next to the 110, does it look like it would create a straight line here? It looks like it. So then I kind of need to just double check to make sure. So I'm going to add these two together. So if I add them together, 70 plus 110 would give me 180. So which of these names is 180? Well, the C would be a 9, so that's 90. The S creates an 8, so that's my 180-degree measure. It has to equal exactly 90 or exactly 180 degrees to get one of those special names. Otherwise, it would be considered neither. So this one is exactly 180 degrees, so we would call this a set of supplementary angles. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another one. Okay, so it looks like a right angle, but we need to double check. So we need to go through and we need to add those together because it does look like it creates a right angle, but we'll go ahead and check that. So 49 plus 41, well, 40 and 40 would give me 80, and then the 9 and the 1 is 10 more. So this does equal 90 degrees, and you could check that on a calculator if you needed to. So a 90-degree angle would be called complementary. Remember, our C can create a 9. So this would be a set of complementary angles. And this last one. So once again, if I look at it, I visually am seeing something that some of you don't. So maybe if you have the angle measures, you could go through and add these two together. So 128 plus 60 would give me 188. So this is plus the 2 would be 190. Okay, remember it has to either be exactly 90, exactly 180 to get the special name, or it's, in this case, neither. Now, visually, when I looked at this, and I'm sure many of you also noticed this concept, whoops, I moved the wrong thing. You can notice that since these were slid together, this is not a straight line. So therefore, it was already eliminated from being that supplementary angle because supplementary has to create a perfectly straight line, whereas complementary makes a perfect corner or a box in the corner. Okay, so I want you to try these three on your own. So for each of these, this one you should have gotten complementary. This one you should have gotten supplementary. And this one was darn close, but it only ended up being 89. So this would be 89 degrees. This would be considered neither. Okay, so now we're going to work a little bit of wording off of these and working with finding a missing measure. So sometimes when you are assessed, they may use some wording that maybe sounds confusing to you. So they may not say supplementary angle or complementary angle. They may use just the wording like I have here. So what is the supplement to a 43-degree angle? So the supplement would mean the supplementary angle. What would I need for that other angle to be in order for 43 to create a supplementary angle? Well, I'm going to take supplementary, which is 180, and subtract off of what I know. And yes, you may use a calculator for this if you would like to. I'm hoping you can do this subtraction, so I'm not really worried about your subtraction longhand. Okay, so if I go through and I subtract this out, I get 137 degrees. So here, 137 degrees plus my 43, if I want to just double check it, should equal out to be 180. And it does. So our answer for this question would be 137 degrees would be the supplement to 43-degree angle. Okay, so we're just going to work with some different wording. And yes, you may use your calculator to go through and check this. Okay, what is the supplement to a 28-degree angle? So remember, supplementary means 180 because that S can make an 8. So if we take 180 minus 28, well, 180 minus 30 would be 50, and I did 2 less than that, so it'd be 152 degrees. Okay. Okay, this time they use some different wording. What is the complement to a 75-degree angle? So complement would mean what angle would help create a set of complementary angles. So remember the C makes a 9, so this would be 90-degree sum. Okay, so we're just going to take 90 minus 75, and that's going to give us 15 degrees. So the complement to a 75-degree angle would be a 15-degree angle. All right, I want you to try these two. So you can go ahead and pause your video, work through these two, and then check your answers. Okay, so once again, working on those words, remembering that supplement starts with an S and you can make an 8, so that's the 180, and complement starts with a C, so it creates a 9, so it's a 90-degree angle. You should have gotten 91 and 25 on each of these.